Africa's natural wealth was never meant to be handed away. It is the inheritance of its people, and no ounce of it should leave the continent without respect, fairness, and proper value. Ghana stunned the global community when it generated more than $3 billion in just 4 months, all without opening a single new gold mine. This was shocking because Ghana has been mining gold for over a century, yet it had never experienced such a rapid jump in revenue. So, what changed? The transformation didn't come from the gold beneath the ground, it came from the system above it. For decades, gold from Ghana flowed out through foreign companies. These firms took the raw gold, processed it abroad, sold it for huge profits, and gave Ghana only a tiny fraction. Even worse, large amounts of gold were leaving the country without proper documentation, causing silent economic loss. But everything shifted in early 2025. Ghana launched a completely new gold governance policy. Under this reform, every single gold export had to go through the newly empowered Ghana Gold Board, which supervises and verifies all transactions. Suddenly, gold that used to disappear through smuggling or underreporting began showing up in official records. More gold was counted, exported legally, and valued accurately. For the first time, Ghana received the real worth of its own resource. In May alone, Ghana exported 11 tons of gold worth $1.1 billion. Between January and April, the country shipped out over 30,000 kilograms, double what it exported during the same months 2 years prior. The secret was not new discoveries, the secret was control. By tightening oversight, Ghana reduced illegal mining, blocked dishonest practices, and demanded foreign companies obey national laws. As a result, Ghana emerged wealthier, more confident, and far more respected. It proved that Africa thrives when it protects its resources. Although Ghana had long been one of Africa's top gold producers, its people rarely felt rich. Gold was leaving, but the benefit wasn't returning. Foreign companies dominated mining, refining, pricing, and exports. It was like owning fertile land but letting someone else decide what to grow, what to sell it for, and how much you receive. Then 2025 arrived with new leadership and new rules. Ghana declared that its gold belonged first to the nation, not to overseas corporations. The Ghana Gold Board became a national gatekeeper, ensuring no gold could leave without proper inspection. Illegal exports collapsed instantly. Companies that once manipulated figures were forced to tell the truth. Hidden exports became traceable. For the first time, Ghana saw a clear picture of its real production. This new oversight also created transparency. In the past, Ghana relied on what companies claimed. Now it relied on what it physically verified. This change wasn't just administrative, it was emotional. Citizens began to feel true ownership of the mineral beneath their soil. That pride fueled a new national mindset. Simply put, Ghana didn't discover new gold. Ghana discovered control, and control changed everything. Interestingly, the spark for Ghana's gold revolution came from Burkina Faso, led by the young captain Ibrahim Traoré. Although Burkina Faso isn't seen as wealthy, Traoré took a bold stand. He canceled exploitative contracts, stopped raw gold exports, and built a national refinery. He insisted that gold must serve Burkina's citizens first. Many doubted him, but within a year the policy worked. Income grew. Reserves rose, and dependence on foreign aid shrank. Ghana took notice. Leaders asked themselves, if Burkina Faso can do this with far fewer resources, why can't we do even better? When President John Mahama returned to office in 2025, he embraced a more African-centered economic model, one inspired by Traoré but adapted to Ghana's scale. This confidence triggered Ghana's modern gold revolution, Africa learning from Africa. One of the strongest new rules was the mandatory 20% gold surrender. Every mining company, foreign or local, had to hand over 20% of refined gold to the state before exporting. This stopped cheating instantly. Why refined gold? because gold bars have serial numbers they can't be faked or smuggled secretly. Another major reform was banning unregistered foreign buyers. For years, traders from places like the UAE and Switzerland purchased gold cheaply from small-scale miners and avoided taxes. Ghana ended this by allowing only certified companies to export. Multinational corporations that threatened to leave or ignored Ghana knew its gold was too valuable for them to walk away. Thanks to these policies. 1. Gold exports surged. 2. National reserves climbed. 3. The Ghanaian currency strengthened. 4. Foreign companies realized they must respect Ghana's sovereignty. Inside Ghana's vaults, something historic occurred. National gold reserves jumped from under 9 tons to over 30 tons in just 3 months. This gave Ghana economic independence it had never experienced before. Instead of relying heavily on US dollars vulnerable to politics and sanctions, Ghana leaned on gold, which no foreign power can devalue or control. With stronger reserves, Ghana no longer needed to fear IMF negotiations. The currency stabilized. International investors began treating Ghana with greater respect. Trade deals shifted in Ghana's favor. The country gained the power to say no to unfair proposals. Other African nations took notice. Mali, Nigeria, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, they all began exploring similar policies. Ghana had ignited a continent-wide conversation about ownership, sovereignty, and economic dignity. A new African ideology was emerging. The wealth beneath our feet must be controlled by us. This idea encouraged refining and value addition within Africa instead of exporting raw materials cheaply. It inspired African youth, who began seeing resources as opportunities for innovation, not assets meant for foreign profit. Western institutions, however, reacted with discomfort. Their mining companies had long benefited from cheap African resources. Reports were published warning against resource nationalism, but predictions of investor flight proved false. Profit keeps investors in place, and Ghana remains rich in gold. In truth, the West wasn't afraid of Ghana growing wealthier. They were afraid of Africa growing stronger together. The psychological shift within Africa was even more powerful than the economic shift. For the first time in generations, young Africans believed they could manage and benefit from their own resources. Independence no longer meant political speeches, it meant economic control. This is Africa's new form of liberation, not fought with guns but with ownership, policy, and confidence. Ghana's message spread across the continent. The old system is over. A new Africa is rising. For decades, Africa's riches left silently while its people stayed poor. But Ghana broke that cycle with one decisive move, taking control of its gold. In months, not years, Ghana earned billions, stabilized its currency, grew its reserves, and gained global respect. The ripple effect awakened a new generation of Africans who refused to let foreign interests dictate the price of their future. A new era has begun, an era in which Africa sets its own rules, protects its own wealth, and shapes its own destiny. Africa's rise is no longer a dream, it has already started. And this time, the world cannot stop it.